So, what do trolls have to do with Christmas? Hey everyone, welcome to Prince of the Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with the Little Troll Prince, a Christmas special that was requested by Venom. This is a donation reward. This is our normal Monday YouTube reaction or YouTube adjacent. You get the gist. Um, and yeah, I don't know anything about this. It's like this old Christmas special, this old animated Christmas special. That's all I know. I don't know what to expect from this at all. And this is like a full, like, hour length Christmas special, though it's like 48 minutes because no commercials or whatnot. But um, that's wild to me because it's like the days of Christmas specials kind of in this way are like gone. Nowadays, Christmas specials are just like a special episode of a show. Um, or like a short on YouTube or something. You don't get a lot of these like actual full-length original Christmas specials that aren't based on an already existing property anymore. A lot of times when you would see these, they would be based on like the Santa story or other kind of like Christmas mythology, that kind of stuff. One of my favorites was this Santa Claus special that I want to say was from the 90s. That had Ed Asner as Santa, and one of the many times he played Santa. But like Mrs. Claus was Betty White, and Tim Curry was in it and all. It's really good, and I love it, and it's really fun. And I mean, it's not like the most tightly written thing ever, but for a Christmas special, it does what it needs to do, and it has the vibes, and it's like the story of how Santa became Santa as well. So yeah, it's a really fun special. I really love it. It has just a weirdly like stacked cast, and I have very fond memories of stuff like that. But again, we don't really see that anymore. Like we'll see like Christmas movies, but not really specials. Not like these made-for-TV Christmas specials. We don't really see those much anymore. And so going back and seeing one that I've just somehow never seen, like that's kind of exciting because it's like I've seen most of these specials that I can at least think of. Again, not counting things that were based on other properties, like I don't know, Powerpuff Girls, Johnny Bravo, stuff like that that had Christmas specials back in the day. I'm talking like original Christmas specials, like The Year Without a Santa Claus and other Rankin Bass stuff. But even then, those were bigger than a lot of the stuff I'm talking about. Because those had actual like video releases and stuff, and this is like a TV thing. Anyway, so the Little Troll Prince. So that doesn't really give me a lot, but I like I said in the cold open. What does a troll have to do with Christmas? Because I don't typically hear of trolls mentioned in the same kind of vein, like elves and everything. Yes, even like other creatures or animals. Obviously reindeer, yetis, etc. But never trolls. When I think of trolls, I think of like stuff like Hilda or just standard troll mythology. I don't think of Christmas. So I really don't know what to expect with this one. But that is almost kind of exciting. I mean, not knowing what I'm getting into and all. Um, I hope to enjoy this. This has been something I've been waiting to be able to get to for quite a while because this is Venom. You actually requested this like I think in the summer. And so it's like I've been waiting to be able to get to this holiday, for one of these YouTube reactions, and I felt like this is the last Monday. This is the last YouTube reaction before our break, because as you know, this coming weekend, we are starting our break after the Princess of Gay Awards come out. Um, and then we won't be coming back until January 3rd in terms of reactions, but we'll have a special birthday stream for myself on January 2nd on the gaming channel because my birthday is January 2nd. That's a Thursday, by the way. So, yeah, uh, we'll see how that all ends up going. But this is the last one before the break and before Christmas in general, so I thought like this is the good time, the best time to get to this. So yeah, I don't know if this is like going to be a Santa story. I don't know if it's going to be something completely separate. I don't know. All I know is it is a Christmas special, and it has something to do with a troll prince. Sure. Let's just get into it and see what we have in store. Cutting in here real quick to remind you of all the awesome content we have on the channel. Between Monday and Friday, we have a plethora of awesome series reactions with 2 on Wednesday. We also have movie reactions every Saturday and Sunday. I do pre-record them during the week, but upload them on the weekend. And don't forget about all the gaming content over on the Princess of Gaming channel. We have Baldur's Gate 3 every single day, Horizon Forbidden West on Mondays and Fridays, Tuesdays and Thursdays is Life is Strange, Wednesdays and Sundays is Red Dead Redemption 2, and on Saturdays we have Nier Automata. A lot of great gaming content every day. Don't forget to click the link in the description below to follow it to today's reaction. I redirect everything just due to copyright reasons. And please subscribe to the channel and like the video if you want to see more awesome content such as this. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at today's reaction. We're back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Oof. Like, audibly oof. Listen, I understand that for a long time, I would even say a good amount of its known history, Christmas as a holiday was known for Christian themes and ideas and, you know, beliefs. But people have started to realize in recent years that that's not where Christmas started. Again, as Christmas, I guess technically it is, but it was stolen initially, so. The point is, people have started to realize in more recent years that you can celebrate Christmas without any connection to Christianity, and that in a lot of cases, it's better to do so. Because it's funny how a lot of these Christians and a lot of people like kind of in that yoke will often point at anything that showcases queer people or people of color or, you know, et cetera, et cetera. They'll point that out as being not just woke, but having an agenda. They will praise movies like this, despite the fact that this movie was pure agenda. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with having beliefs. There's nothing wrong with celebrating Christian themes and ideals and messages and all during the holiday season. If that's how you celebrate the holidays, all the power to you. That's fine. You're allowed to celebrate any way you want. But I do not believe that holiday specials like this, especially those aimed at kids, should be like this. Because it's not even just that this was like very Christian, but it was very gaslighty and extremely manipulative. Not to mention just false on so many different things. And it's like you're manipulating kids into thinking something that they're eventually going to find out you're wrong on, and that this special is wrong on. And that's going to create trust issues, and that's going to cause them to like look down on this stuff, because it's like they're going to realize it was clearly manipulated into them as children. I've heard of so many cases of people like becoming an adult and completely turning their back on like Christian messages and, beliefs, because they realized how much it was forced on them as kids, and they don't actually believe in that stuff. And like I said, I am Christian. I want to make that clear, but I'm like, also, as I said, a light Christian. And what I mean by that, let me explain. So I have faith in the existence of God. And I believe that there are, certain moral and ethical ideals that are expressed within the Bible. And I go to church, and I take part in church and all of that. But I also, like I said, don't make it my whole personality. But on top of that, I have a lot of issues and questions that, let's be completely honest, I'm not going to ever get answered. A lot of questions, a lot of issues that I have with the stories in the Bible, or, let's be honest, a lot of the heavy contradictions, because those do exist, and various other problems here and there with both the Bible and Christianity itself as a belief system and everything. There's so many problems, so many issues with it, that it's hard for me to like argue against atheists and agnostics and everyone who either aren't quite sure about Christianity and don't really see enough evidence to support it, or just believe that Christianity has been toxic and terrible for most of its history. I can't argue with that stuff, because honestly, it's fucking true. And like I said, in regards to the belief thing, like I said, it's all built on faith. And what that means is that there's no actual evidence. There's no actual proof. There's nothing that actually, as I believe this movie this special put it, that proves God is real, like, no matter what, or whatever the fuck it said during that song. It's like God is really there for you. It's like you have no way of knowing that. That's not how Christianity works. Again, it's built entirely on faith, and you have no way to prove anything about it, outside of just things like, oh, Jesus as a person existed. Nothing about the events of the Bible have been or can be proven, and nothing about it being like about God's existence or anything can be, and nothing has been, and I don't know if it ever will be. But like I said, I have faith in God's existence, and I will admit part of that is just because of my own fears. For those who don't know, I am excessively afraid of, like, not just death, but specifically what happens to you after death, and especially what happens to your consciousness, because just the concept of, like, existentialism freaks me the fuck out, but especially when it comes to that specifically. So, yeah, it makes sense that that would scare me. And I genuinely do believe in God, because I'm afraid of the alternative. I'm afraid of what that means if God doesn't exist. I don't believe in God because I've seen proof of God, because I haven't. No one has. Anyone who tells you they've seen proof of God's existence is lying to you. Because that proof just does not exist. You can say that you've seen things that convince you of God, but that's a completely different thing. um, but this movie, or I keep calling it a movie, this special tries to gaslight you into thinking that the proof is all around us and that it's like undeniable, unquestionable. But they also like say that the what the proof is that they say is so like not evidence of anything, and it's just like, oh my god, this is so dumb. And here's another aspect of it too, and this kind of goes for almost anything, not just Christianity, but it is so fucking on the nose. Like they call this a parable. It's not a parable. Like a parable is like the Good Samaritan um, or the prodigal son. They're stories that basically use metaphor and simile to make a point. And especially within Christianity and biblical context, that point is usually to express God, express the ideas and themes and uh, beliefs that center around a Christian um, just belief system. um, Even the ones that are in the Bible aren't this on the nose. Like the prodigal son, that this is a parable everybody knows. Jesus himself told this parable in the Bible, right? Everyone knows what the prodigal son is, whether they're Christian or not. You know, um, young man forces his father to give him his inheritance early, goes off, spends it like extremely recklessly, and ends up being homeless, living with the pigs and everything. Comes back to his father's home begging for forgiveness. The father welcomes him with open arms, gets his servants slaughter the fattest calf to have a feast, is super welcoming and accepting. You get the gist. And obviously the parable is like there to um, discuss like the forgiving nature of God and everything in light of even people like intentionally straying for their own selfish desires and whatnot. It's meant to like convey that kind of idea about God. But that's exactly what it is. It's conveying an idea through metaphor and simile. That's the point. It's not like blasting in your face like, oh, this is a story about God every 2 seconds. And it's like this special is so in your face about it. It's like turning to the audience, winking and saying this is a story about God every 2 fucking seconds. And it's like, oh my god, shut up. This is so cringe. It's so actively cringeworthy. Because it's like, it's not naturally told. It feels so forced, so trite, so unenjoyable to watch. Because it's just shoving beliefs down your throat. It's not even like fun in regards to the rest of the story about like the trolls and everything. Because it doesn't give it time to be. It's too busy like being a forced parable that again is super in your face about it, that it doesn't have the opportunity to actually focus on the troll story enough to make it engaging or interesting. Like again, I've seen other Christian themed holiday specials. And there's a lot that you could say about like holiday specials that aren't explicitly Christian, but like are more subtle about it. This is not one of those though. And I'm so like actively like not annoyed, not even like upset by it exactly. I'm just bored watching this. It was so actively disinteresting because it didn't really try. Like the little troll prince has like no character. He is like the most basic, generic, bland uh protagonist possible. The bullies, including I guess the brother, is so are they're so weak and like have no personality outside of being bullies. The parents, the father, the king, is the most nuanced character in this, and even he's not as nuanced as he could be. The little girls, the sisters, are so fucking cringe. Like they're just there to espouse the false belief that Jesus is the reason for the season. They're that is literally the only point of their existence in this, and it's boring. It's so annoyingly boring because the concept like of like a troll prince who's nicer and ends up losing his status as a troll as a prince and moving in to be a gnome with a human family and everything. The concept of that could be done. It could absolutely be done well. It's just that they didn't put forth any effort into this. They basically like just decided to make it a lame, over the top Christian special with absolutely no heart to it, no festivity, no interest, no enjoyment. And it sucks. It really sucks because of that. I I will say like I think the one thing that I feel like was positive regarding this was the fact that the girls were like talking about how Jesus accepts everyone and how it's like there basically no discrimination in that regard. Um, because again, that's very much not how Christianity is nowadays. Most Christians nowadays, most churches nowadays preach a very intolerant message. And it's fucked up because it actively is not a good message to teach not only kids but anyone. And so it's like I'm glad that this at least was preaching tolerance and preaching, you know, acceptance of others who are not like yourself. But I don't like the preachiness, like overall. Just that aspect of it was better than the rest. The voice acting was fine. I had no issue with that, but when you have such big names in here, it's like that's not a surprise. I mean, Andrea Romano was the voice director, so yeah. I had no issue with that. I didn't really have an issue with any of the music. I mean, outside of it being very like ridiculous in terms of its heavy-handedness. The music itself was fine. Like nothing altogether special, but I can't say it was bad. And you also have um the the pacing of this, which I would say kind of goes hand in hand with like the poor writing in regards to it's not well paced because it's like you have like 45 minutes, an hour with commercials to tell this whole story, and because of it everything is rushed. Everything is rushed. And again, this is not even accounting for the heavy-handedness of the Christian messaging in it. It's just in general, everything is just super rushed. Um, yeah, it's like this is clearly meant to spread a message more than it's meant to actually be an entertaining special for children, and it shows. It's one of those cases where it just doesn't work, in my opinion. It just absolutely did not work. It's way, way too fucking heavy handed. And it's just not that enjoyable or fun to watch. And weirdly enough, it's one of those many Christmas specials that have like an obscene amount of great talent that are just like there, I guess, not really used to their full potential. I mean, it's like how in that one Christmas special, Rhapsody Street Kids, they had Mark fucking Hamill in that. It's like, you have Mark Hamill in this, and you're just gonna waste that shit? It's like, the fuck? You have Nancy Cartwright in this, the voice of Bart fucking Simpson, and you're just gonna waste her talent? It's just like, oh my god. It gives me a headache, this kind of shit. The fact that it's common for that kind of stuff to happen too is wild. I mean, I don't know what I expected with this, but also the lore behind it is wild. It's like, oh, there's they're trying to do some lore here, but it's kind of crap. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just I'm not a fan of this like at all. It was a very cringy, hard to sit through special. Um and it's like so heavy-handed. But I mean, if you like this, that's fine. I mean, it's all subjective, it's all opinion, and in a lot of cases, you might like this because you grew up with it. Sort of like me in that other special I was talking about, which I actually have downloaded. I can look up the title. I think it's just called like The Legend of Santa Claus or something. But I do actually have that downloaded because I downloaded it, I think, a year or two ago, and I just kept it on here because I don't want to lose it again. I want to be able to watch it all the time. Um, Let me see here. I think it's in this folder. Yeah, it's called The Story of Santa Claus. It was on CBS. Um, but like the head elf and everything is like he looks like a wizard and has this like big crooked nose, and he's voiced by Tim Curry in there. It's also a musical. It also has a lot of good music in it. But yeah, that's The Story of Santa Claus from CBS is what I was talking about. I could possibly show a picture here. Give me a second here. Um, that though is one of my favorites, and I admit it's not the best made, though the music is fucking bumping. The music's amazing. Um, but like in terms of the story and the pacing, it has a lot of issues as well. But it is definitely something that's excessively nostalgic for me. Here, let me see if I can show this. Um, oh god, I turned down the brightness. There it goes. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The Story of Santa Claus. You see that wizard guy up there? He's actually the head elf. He's voiced by Tim Curry, and Ed Asner is Santa. Mrs. Claus is Betty White and everything. Oh god, now I'm blurry. But yeah, that is my like big Christmas special. Also, I didn't know this had a Wikipedia page. Um, but yeah, that's a big one for me. Um, and I again, I acknowledge it has issues too, but still. Yeah, Ed Asner was the speaking voice of Santa. Jim Cummings was the singing voice, by the way. Um, you also had Miko Hughes, who's been in a lot of things like Spawn and Kindergarten Cop and Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Was one of the elves Clement. Catherine Zaremba was another elf, Aurora, who has been in various things. It doesn't have like a huge cast, but it's like the songs are definitely its big thing. You could look them up on YouTube, I'm sure. Like, look up the song To Give Every Child in the World a Toy, or We're Gonna Pull It Off, or Clement's song. Look up any of those, and you'll definitely get it, I'm sure. But yeah, that was the big one for me growing up. The one that I would watch every year, and it has like these good messages in it about treating others as equals and giving people fair chances and just the general idea of helping out others lesser than you, who are in worse positions for whatever reason, etc., etc. So yeah, that I just wanted to give a moment to shout out as well. If you haven't seen that, I would definitely suggest checking it out. I think the file I got was on Daily Motion. I don't know if it's still there though. It might be on Internet Archive though. You might be able to find it on Internet Archive. I could believe it if it's not just on YouTube. But yeah, I with this special, the Little Elf Prince, very clearly just not good. Not for me, at least in my opinion. Again, if you like this, if you have nostalgic feelings for it, or if you just genuinely like it for whatever reason, that's fine. It's all subjective, but I didn't. I thought it was way too fucking heavy handed, and I just didn't find much about it to enjoy. Again, outside of like the voice cast, who are great. But tell me what you thought down in the comments below. Thank you to Venom for donating for this, and for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.